How to start a life coaching business? Well, first of all, you have to have a lot of life before you can start a coaching business so you can coach about a life. I love when 18, 19, and 20-year-olds want to coach people who have had an amazing amount of experience. Now, coaching on balance, not a fan of that either. Why? Because balance officially, by definition, is a scale that's balanced, which means you're stagnant. Not a great position in life. I believe you get the I want to have everything life. So I have a 21-day integrated life challenge that's super fun, brand new, all updated. I want you to go check it out. So as a coach, like I don't call myself a money coach even. Coaching is a process, in my opinion. It is not like a title that you're going to do. So let's dive into a few things. How do you position yourself as an expert, not a coach, right? And what's the thing you're going to talk about? What are you an expert in? Number two, how do you find and engage your clients? There's so many of you that want to be a coach, but you want clients to hand delivered to you. There's a little bit of money in that, not a lot of money in that. The money is in the marketing and the sales and actually leading the brand of a huge group of people who want to surround you as an influencer expert that can really change their life. So again, you've got to have some experience and some testimonials. Like we've got, I don't know, over 10-something thousand millionaires that have been made through this process since I started this in 2000, 2001. In fact, next year's our 25th anniversary of our big table. Can't wait. It's going to be amazing. And I know how to build a coaching company. And I don't care what the topic is, because everybody has a life. Which area of life are you going to coach on? Last thing I'm going to talk about is how do you build the systems, the team, the pricing, and how do you just get going? And I have a lot of opinions about that and a lot of mistakes that I went through at early stages. Wish somebody would have told me what I know today. 1996 is when I went through my coach's training, just a minute ago. So I've been doing this for most of my entire career. So first of all, let's begin. Why an expert, not a coach? Because a coach, a facilitator, an author, a speaker, a trainer, to me, those are processes. Those are modalities you use to have people enlighten their life and improve their life. So you're an expert in what? I'm an expert in money. Are you going to be an expert in nutrition? Are you going to be an expert in wellness? An expert in CBD? An expert in construction? An expert in process planning? Like, what are you an expert in? And then from there, you start looking around and say, well, who's my competition, right? Who's already doing it that I would like to be like? And maybe even sign up for their process, maybe a process or program, whatever they have. I don't really have a program, I have a process, because mine is a one-time lifetime membership, forever and ever. Why? Because the first couple of years, it's intense to shift all this, to move from being somebody who makes, spends, to somebody who invests, and reduces taxes. There's a process of resetting your entire family life. Then it's an amplifier. Let's grow and go. So look at what your competition's doing. And again, don't copy them. Come up with distinctions. So again, my distinction is the integration. No one else in the money space integrates. They specialize. They specialize in just real estate, just stock trading, just taxes, just corporate structure, just even crypto or blockchain. So how do you integrate all of it to have one unified financial plan? We're the only ones that are doing it. That's why we are so highly specialized in what we do. So what is it that you specialize in? And I can tell you, you have just got to start getting clients. You're not going to practice and practice and practice and all of a sudden go. You just have to get clients. So what I did in my coach's training early on is for $200 a month, which I wouldn't do that. I would probably start at $400 a month. All of you are worth at least $100 a week. Start with 30-minute sessions once a week and only do 8 weeks, 12 weeks with a client. Just start the process. And if you haven't been through some great coaches training, I went through actually the Coaches Training Institute. I know it's changed its name to something else. I think it's called the Coaches now. But it was probably the most profound kind of coaching. Gone through Landmark, gone through SIVE, gone through the Forum, gone through all those processes. And again, I call them processes because I'm an expert in money. So I have a directive around how I do my process and my structure in coaching. It's very different because a true coach, a true life coach, just asks questions. We ask a lot of questions, but there also has to be a directive, because if you knew the answer, you wouldn't be here, because you would know how to go find it. The internet is a disaster. I call it the bathroom wall. Anybody can write anything about anyone. And a lot of it's not true. I don't know how many clients we get. I'm thinking, how did you get here? Like, who set up that company for you? Why do you get taxed like that? Like, It's shocking to me. But again, the distinction is we have all these experts who can actually help unravel and solve those problems. So what's your message? What are you clear about? What are you an expert in? What's your distinction? Now let's go to the next step. How do you go find clients? Again, I would not start with friends and family because you behave differently. I would find 5, 10, 15 clients. I don't care if you work with them. That's different. You could go to some networking groups. You could just go online and say, hey, I'm an expert in, like for mine, talk track, I would say I'm an expert in money. I'm taking on 10 people to begin a new process and, just ask who wants to do it. As they call in, obviously you're going to charge them. You're going to do what's called an ask, tell, ask. If you don't know how to do that, come to my Millionaire Intensive and watch what I do. See, our process is we start with a lead magnet, which is this. We're going to give you 2 tickets to our Millionaire Intensive. It's going to give us a gap analysis, and then you're going to call in for a strategy session. So through that process, we start assessing, are you a right client for us or not? So we're using the Millionaire Intensive. We use Ask Loral, ask a question, make a request. You can go to askloral.com. If you don't have an ask campaign, I think every coach, facilitator, trainer, educator should have an ask campaign. Ask them any question and you'll answer it. And then from there, you start sorting out how to get clients. So before I give you the real juice, like how you really get them, so they're not just in social media following, how do you get them to monetize your database? I'll tell you in a moment. But before that, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I'm here 5 days a week. Click that notification button and share it. Share it with tons and tons of people. So as a coach, I would highly encourage you. Not encourage you. I would tell you if you're my client, you will get incorporated. Why? Because you need to protect your life. So a company in America, it's an LLC, limited partnership, S Corp or C Corp. It's asset protection, it's liability protection, and it's tax structure. Because just you as a sole proprietor, if you're giving any sort of what is assumed to be advice, you can get sued, which means they can come for your house, they can come for your insurance policy, IRAs, all those other things. And so many of you, if you're in a liable situation, even if you're coaching on real estate or you're an expert in lending, you need to have an entity that wraps up and protects you and your family. And then if you need to DBA it, you go down to the county clerk, fill out a little $35 form, at least that's what it is here in Nevada, and you're doing business as what? Because you may want to change your coaching practice. I've coached in health, I've coached in cash flow, I've coached with Shad Portat, I have coached for Bob Proctor, I have been Bob Proctor's partner, and I have been Live Out Loud, and now we are Integrated Wealth Systems. That's all been the same company with DBAs. So your corporate structure informs your tax structure. That's number one. The next thing is you need to get a database. So I want you to go to askrms.com, watch the video, learn what it takes to really understand a database. Because your job, if you want to be a coach mentor, is to be out here. You got to be on social media. I would not start with a YouTube channel. I would start with Instagram. I would start with a podcast. I would start with a blog post. I would just start getting some content. Because until you've coached 10, 20, 30 people, like really had clients where you've moved their life forward, now you have testimonials, it's going to be more challenging. It's not impossible. You just have to do social posts, and then I'm going to send you to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. Now you're in my database. Now you're going to be called. Now you're going to be invited to things. Now we begin, and then we can assess whether we're right for each other. So you are going to be doing the same thing in whatever category you're in. But I can tell you that systems and that RMS is life-changing for all of you. Getting incorporated, getting RMS are the 2 things I do with every company that I do. I get incorporated, I get a database, I get RMS, and I go. That's the beginning stages of the engines that drive a $100,000, million, $10 million company. You can do this, you just have to begin. Call our office, we'd love to help. Talk to you tomorrow.